My camera?
No, mine. I think it's mine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, let me work on it. What did you do with the camera, man? Yep, we are back with the third part of Central News, the TT hookup. We are now being joined by fighter Vusi Khoza. I call people by names of organizations they come from. If you are from another organization, I'll call you. I'll prefix it with the title from that organization. So, fighter Vusi Khoza, are you well this morning, Tata?
I am very well. Thank you very much for having us, Ted.
Man, I think let's get straight into it. I think you have been hot news in the past few days in South Africa. So I think let's not waste any further time. Now, I want it to be a bit conversational between me and you. Eh? It's not going to be like an interview in a traditional sense of the interview. Now, let's presume that you are still a member of the EFF. Why would you say that the EFF is a better political organization in the country than any other in South Africa?
Yeah, if I were still the member of the EFF and I was not expelled, I would have said, in my time, I would have said the EFF is one organization that does not make promises, it makes commitments. If it says it will do something, it will do it. I remember a joke by another white woman that I saw on social media. She says she won't be voting ANC and DA, and they say why? She says because those ones, they will say they will do something and they won't do it. And then, but I won't vote for the EFF either, because the EFF is the only party that says they will do something, and I'm afraid that what they say they will do, they will do. That's why I won't vote for them. So in a summary, it's I believe in its principles, policies, particularly the issue of land, expropriation of land without compensation and for equitable redistribution, plus the fact that it wants to nationalize the mines, the banks, and other strategic sectors of the economy. I think for me, that's the most important thing that we should all be pursuing as Black people in South Africa.
We now know that we have been expelled from the EFF, and this is resultant from the fact that towards the 10th year anniversary celebrations of the EFF in Johannesburg, members of your organization, especially those who occupy positions as public representatives, were required to procure transport for their members or constituencies to attend that particular function. And you have been quoted elsewhere as saying that you were expected for you as an individual to get 20 buses going to Johannesburg. Is that the case?
It is true. As a member of parliament, I was expected to procure 20 buses for my constituency in KwaZulu-Natal, which would have cost in the region of between 800,000 and 1.2 million. That's the going price for the 20 buses. That's what was expected from me, and that's what I failed to deliver on.
And as far as you know, what was your quotation the highest quotation for this, or were the others who had like a higher amount to pay? Because I'm thinking that somebody maybe comes from Cape Town, theirs might have been higher, or could it be different because based on the size of the constituency?
Yes, yes, theirs would have been higher because if you are an MP, bring 20 buses, it was across the board. So a person from Western Cape or Eastern Cape would have paid higher for the same buses as compared to a person who's from Soweto, in Gauteng or Mpumalanga or even KZN.
So those in Gauteng had a light up baggage, so to speak.
Not really. They had a higher number of buses. So still the baggage would have been lower, even if they had the higher number of buses. So it was inequitable in terms of, as you've indicated, Cape Town and Durban, two different provinces, and the amounts would have been even more higher.
Now, do you think this request was reasonable to be given to members such as yourselves?
I don't think it was reasonable, even
But
if it
where
was.
does it come from? Is it not eminent from the from the discussions in the central committee in which you sit?
Yeah, it was discussed there and agreed there, but still it does not make it reasonable. It was still unreasonable given the current economic climate. But obviously, it was not said that you go and take from your own money because no one would have that kind of money. The instruction was go and fundraise. If you fundraise, you can either get or don't get. It can either be a yes or a no. So I got a lot of no's. Some people might have been lucky, they got a lot of yeses because of their skills and connections and contacts. Unfortunately, I don't have rich contacts. I fight rich people all the time for exploiting workers and for taking advantage of workers. Now imagine me going to them and say, please, boss, give me money. The guy will give me money, but tomorrow when I must go and fight for the workers, he's going to tell me to get lost. Or he is going to tell the workers, I gave that one money to take you all to FNB. Now there's nothing he can do. Then I'm captured. Why would I surrender myself to capture? It's wrong.
Of the 20 buses that you were required to make available for FNB, how many were you able to actually come up with?
Zero. I was not able to send even one because the instruction was 20.
But I mean, in terms of your fund, how long was the fundraising period? I think it was what, 3 months or so?
February to July, that would have been 6 months of fundraising, and I was unable to fundraise.
Unable or didn't because maybe you found the request unreasonable?
No. I was unable. There were no sponsors that were forthcoming. Even those that made promises, they pulled out last minute.
Okay. Now, tell me, like, what is the view of the Provincial Executive Committee of KZN with regards to your expulsion from the EFF?
I have not spoken with them.
Are you not were you not the provincial chair of the
I'm the previous chairperson, but during my expulsion, I had been co-opted or been a member of the central command team. So I was sitting on the national executive, no longer on the provincial executive, because remember, I'm a former chairperson. We have the provincial chairperson now. So I was then co-opted into the national structure. So I wouldn't know right now as to how do they feel about my expulsion. I haven't spoken with them.
Now, the constituency that you were required to transport there themselves, how like I would suppose that they would know about the sanction that you have been given, as a result of your failure to provide for them transport. And these are people I think that you fight with on the ground for for the things that the EFF fights for.
Yes.
And they may have trusted you for a long time as their ally and a leader. But now, how do they feel about your expulsion from the organization? Do they think it's a fair thing or?
No, for the few that I've spoken with, because you remember I was suspended. Condition of my suspension was that I should not wear EFF regalia. I should not attend meetings. I should not represent EFF anywhere in any formal meeting. But those that I talk to informally, they feel just like I feel that this sanction was very harsh. It was unwarranted. It could have been handled differently. They're just equally unhappy, just like I'm unhappy. Those few that I've spoken with, but those others you read about would say that no, there's nothing wrong with this. So people would not, of course, go in one direction; they'll go in opposite direction at some point.
Yeah, I'm thinking that like each bus would have about 60 or 65 passengers.
Yes.
Now, 20 buses, therefore, gives us how many people?
It's about 1,200.
1,200 people, if it's 60 people.
Yes.
Now, if for example, say, because I'm assuming that you may at the later stage or whenever want to appeal the sanction given to you, would any of the people that you were supposed to have helped transport to FNB support you in your appeal, or would they be ill-advised to say write petitions to the Central Executive Committee and say, but we the former chair, we understand he failed us, but we think this sanction is too harsh. We still have a struggle to pursue.
Yeah, no, they would. I'm sure in their own personal capacity, it will be dependent on them, obviously. But I wouldn't advise them to do that. I wouldn't advise them to do that because you know we are living in a vicious world of politics. If you align yourself with certain people, if those people are undesirable, and you seem to be siding with them, you just become a victim of fights that you know nothing about. So anyone that would want to fight my fights, I would advise them not to, so that they don't get targeted because of my association, of their association with myself. I would say, let me fight this battle. If I lose it, I will decide what I do with my political future. And if I go somewhere, if you guys feel strongly about it, you can follow me there. That would be my advice, but I wouldn't like them to pick up the fight on my behalf.
Okay. Before you joined the EFF, I would presume that you left another organization to join this. Which organization was this? Was it the ANC?
Okay, what happened? I've been with the ANC all my life up until I was an ANC all my life, and I became an ANC ward councillor. I won my ward 32 at Teguini for the ANC. This was between 2006 up to 2011. 2011, I left the ANC and joined the National Freedom Party when it was formed. And when I left the National Freedom Party, it was when the EFF was formed in 2013. Because remember, most people that formed the EFF, I was with them in the ANC. So the politics of EFF resonated with me far more than the NFP. So I went and joined the EFF. But when I joined the EFF, I had been the provincial secretary of the NFP. So I left the position of provincial secretary of the NFP to join the EFF. That's my brief history.
Now that because I would think that you sacrificed your previous political life. Maybe sacrifice is a big word, but you left your organization to join the EFF, and now the EFF has expelled you from its fold. Do you feel ill-treated by the EFF?
I appreciate the time that I've had with the EFF. I've learned a lot. I wouldn't say that They treated me badly. They treated me well. When I joined the EFF, few months I was appointed to be the provincial convener. We led the election campaign in 2014. We got 2 seats in the provincial legislature of the EFF. I was elected permanent chairperson in 2018. I led the elections campaign 2019. We grew from 2 seats that we had in 2014. We grew to 8. So I'm leaving the EFF on a very high note, having led it from 0 votes in the province to the 2 seats in the provincial legislature and to 8. So I've had 9 years of EFF as a provincial legislature member and just under 1 year as an MP at a national level. I've learned a lot. I've had an opportunity to rub shoulders with the best political brains in the EFF. And for that opportunity, I'm grateful. I've grown a lot as a person. It happened. I'm not bitter about the process that leading up to my expulsion. The only thing that severity of the sanction, I think it is brutal, it is harsh, and it is unwarranted. I think it's an extreme reaction to a minor failure, bearing in mind what we've been through, what we had to sacrifice in the EFF, only to be dumped like this. But I don't take it personal. There's 64 of 60. We are 62 in total that have been expelled. There's 61 other people who are affected, just like myself. So I don't want to take it personal, but I think it was harsh, it was brutal, it was unnecessary.
You don't take it personally, but it has changed your personal relations with the party, definitely. Given that fact, does this change your perception of what the EFF stand for? And would you still encourage people to join and vote for the EFF at the moment?
No.
Given those dynamics that have come up.
Given those dynamics, I wouldn't, because I mean, if we could work so hard, I mean, the people that are expelled are councillors. They've campaigned, and those councillors became councillors by getting higher votes in their constituencies, by the way, because for you to be a PR councillor, you must have received the highest number of votes in your municipality. These are high performers of the EFF. For them to be kicked out like that. What is even worse is that when they were elected to be councillors in 2021, some of them were coming through for the first time. They were told to buy a bakkie. They bought bakkie, got into debt. Now those cars are going to be repossessed, or even if they take back those cars, they're going to end up with shortfalls. And what's going to happen? It's going to dent their names. They won't be able to qualify for credit in the future. I mean, those are the things that are thought out of Ubuntu, the spirit of humanity, that those things would have been considered when a decision is taken against those people. I mean, the EFF purports to be an organization that fights for the poor. So you've taken poor people. They've just had an opportunity to make something out of their lives, and they've just got started. They've got people to support. You got them into debt, buying bakkies. All of a sudden, you dump them. You've sent them to hell, basically, from the frying pan into the fire. I don't think that indicates Ubuntu. I don't think that it is sensitive. It's morally and ethically wrong.
Is there a dictatorship in the EFF?
No, I wouldn't say it's dictatorship. And I don't think it's a wrong strategy, Tam, I must say, because you see, a majority of African people come from a culture of amakhosi is nduna, where there must be a command and control. Too much democracy in an organization kills a lot of organizations. Let's look at the ANC, for instance. Even a madman can stand up and say, I want my rights. I have a right to be met. And then I demand. Democracy is problematic. Look at the country that we are in. People have got too many rights, and those too many rights lead to a mess. So command and control is a good start. Look at organizations that have lived longer and performed. Look at the IFP, for instance. The IFP uses the same system of command and control. I think it's an African thing. I think this democracy, we take it too far. You can't be too democratic in an organization. It becomes problematic. So you have to have that command and control. So it's not dictatorship.
Even if it leads to this kind of wrong decisions, because I would assume that this is not a correct decision according to you. This command and control,
it is not. It would be incorrect for us to say it's dictatorship, because then we would want to ascribe it to one person. I've come across this question many times, but they were not like you. They were specific to say. People say Julius Malema is a dictator. He dictates what happens in the EFF. No, he's a commander in chief. He must command. But when decisions are taken, they're taken collectively. So it was a collective decision. But to use Julius Malema's own words, the majority may be wrong at times. In this instance, it was a nonsensical decision that's insensitive and that is ethically and morally wrong.
Do you think that there is a chance that the EFF may realize the wrongness of their decision and maybe want to reverse these decisions? And if that were to happen, would you consider rejoining the EFF?
I think you must have heard yesterday at the rally there, where the commander-in-chief of the EFF says Vusi Khoza is expelled. He's not a member of an EFF. Even if he can appeal, he appeals from a position of not being a member. You don't utter such words when you've given the person an option to appeal. I take it that if a person appeals a decision, the status quo remains, right? So the status quo should have been that if I'm given an opportunity to appeal, the decision is withheld pending or is suspended pending. But that statement alone tells you that even if I were to appeal, it will just be a formality. It's a foregone conclusion that I'm no longer a member of the EFF. So that is basically my view. I don't think they would want to have me back. Even if I were to come back, for instance, life will never be the same. Because why do you want to impose yourself on spaces where you are not welcome? I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't come back even if they were to reconsider it. But of course, I have an appeal. But from where I stand, I don't see that appeal succeeding, given the words that I've just quoted from him. But if they do change it, life will never be the same for me within that organization.
But the way you're speaking, it sounds as though that the reason for the expulsion may not necessarily be only the issue of buses. There may be other underlying causes for the expulsion. Because if it was just that issue alone, there shouldn't be a reason for people to feel so strongly, or for the commander in chief to feel so strongly that whoever is expelled, and therefore there shall be no recourse for that decision. Are there any other underlying reasons for the expulsion?
No, I don't know of any, but I can't read people's minds. There could.
Do you suspect that there may be others?
I'll leave that to your speculation and your viewers to speculate honestly, because if I were to say that, I would be lying. I'm not aware of any, but okay. Other people could be aware, but I'm not, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. So for Vusi Khoza, from here now, where to?
Vusi Khoza has been a politician all his life. Like I've said, that I've been in politics from student days. I've been a public representative for 15 years, 5 years as an ANC ward councillor, 9 years as an AEFF MPL, and under a year as an EFF MP. So I will always stay in politics. I think I've still have got a role to play. Once I've concluded my appeal with the EFF, successful or not, I'm not going to be lost to politics. I'll be back, and I can guarantee that come 2024, when the swearing in ceremony takes place, whether it's in the province or nationally, I'll be in that house, I'll be on that line, and I'll be sworn in, and I'll carry on serving my constituents and the people of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. That's guaranteed.
That is confidence on steroids there.
That's my level of confidence, and I shall deliver on this commitment.
Vusi Khoza, thank you very much for your time and for engaging us. We wish you all the best and luck in your new endeavors.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity you've given us. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. That was Vusi Khoza, former MP of the EFF, member of the EFF. The current review, the TT hookup, Thamsanqa